Hi everybody, my name is Rhys Barber. I'm the audiologist here at Audiology Associates. We upload new earwax removal videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 PM UK time, so please consider subscribing. Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal video today. So as you can see here, the patient's got a large blockage of wax. Really depressed central section of the wax, and the outer sections are stuck to the ear canal. So if you've watched these videos before, you'll know that usually indicates the person's been using Q-tips. So what we're going to do first of all is try and lift the thinner section that's going around the outer part of the ear canal here, because if we try and hold on to the central section and pull forwards, this outer section here is going to hold it in because it's quite stuck to the canal wall. So we're just going to detach that first of all. Just working our way around the edge, looking for any sort of breakage there between the wax and the canal wall itself. Just trying to lift up. You can see though it's quite soft on the surface, but quite stuck to the skin underneath. Just switching position now. Lifting from the side. I'm going to spray a little bit of olive oil in here because you can see how sticky this is. So if we can lift this off and work a little bit of olive oil underneath, it's going to help to detach it from that canal wall. So as we lift here, you can see it's really not detaching very well. So just pulling down from the top now. Sometimes if we can't detach from the bottom, we'll work from the top, see if we can roll this forwards. But here you can see it's really stuck. This is the difficulty with sort of excessive use of Q-tips, really, or enthusiastic, perhaps that's a better way of describing it. Because when you're really pushing this in, what you'll see on the end of the Q-tip is what you can see from the depression in the center. So you'll get this kind of little bit of wax around the Q-tip end, but what you've actually done is pressed it all against the canal wall as well. Now obviously this is dependent on the amount of wax you produce. Now some people can, we see in the comments a lot of people say, I've used cotton buds and Q-tips all my life, never had a problem. But it also depends on how much wax you produce generally anyway. If you produce a lot of wax and you're using Q-tips, then it is going to become problematic. If you don't produce hardly anything at all, then Q-tip isn't really going to make much of a difference, but you'll never get any problems then. Just taking away now from the left-hand canal wall here. So we've unstuck the bottom. We've unstuck part of the side. Now we're working around. Now you can see more clearly the outer edge of this hard compacted wax in the center here. So still working around the edges. Here we are. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of detachment from the canal wall now. I'm holding on there, just giving it a little bit of a wiggle, and we can see that we're not really budging, but we have got a little bit of a gap at the top here. So we're going to go in with the job just big enough to fit the Jobson horn through. So we're going to go just over the top. Obviously you can see if we go too far over the top, we're going to be working blind. So we're just going to press onto the top of the wax there rather than try and push all the way behind it. And then pull forwards. That's going to roll the top end of wax forwards. Now I can push into this wax because I can see that's not going to go in too deep. And then we're going to try and pull this out. You can see the center of the wax is actually quite soft and sticky. So it's actually just put a groove down the center of the wax there. So we're just going to sneak over the top, roll forwards. There we are. Now we've brought the wax forwards. We know we can safely get behind it now with the Jobson horn. You can see as we lifted, look, that back end was much higher. So it's a long piece that's coming away. So there we are, it's working its way out, sliding now really easily because of the olive oil. And out that comes. You can see quite hard, dry, dark coloured wax. So it's quite old and dried out. Lots of little bits of hair in there as well, binding all that together. So you can get a good idea of the size of it. And we take a look behind, we'll see there's the eardrum there. A little bit of dry skin you can see at the bottom, but it's still quite firmly attached looking at that. So we'll leave that where it is and let it migrate out on its own. So that's the piece we removed. You can see it was 1 centimeter long. A little bit detached as we took it out as well. You can see that's the bit to the right hand side. So just under half, or just bang on half an inch there. So this is the second patient of compilation. You can see very different color wax here, so much lighter in color. Now, this lighter colored wax is normally when a patient has some dry skin or dryness to the canal, you'll get this much lighter, harder type of wax that you can see here, which is really firmly stuck to the canal walls and really solid and center. So mostly Jobson horn going to be used here because the suction is not going to have enough grip to hold on to this wax to pull it out. So we're just going in with a Jobson horn. We're right at the entrance of the canal here, so I can push into this wax quite safely. I'm just taking a chunk away. So you end up with this very strange consistency, this very hard outer shell of wax. The central section then is it's not quite crumbly, but it's not quite soft either. It's this kind of in-between texture, this kind of like a dry sort of fudgy texture. So I'm just trying to work the outside edge here. You can see we've got lots of bits of dry skin, dry flakes of wax that are accumulating around the entrance to the canal here. So lifting, just going over the top there, we can see this piece of wax is mobile. It's moving around quite easily, so it's not as stuck to the canal wall as it was. So we're just going to try and break another chunk off, but it's going to be too long and too wide to fit out this ear canal entrance. So if we can break some off here, and what you can see is because there is this dry nature to the outer shell is kind of holding it together. So as we pull forwards, it pulls the next section down to the entrance of the canal, which is this next dry section here. Now the patient was experiencing obviously a lot of hearing issues, but some irritation, dryness in the itching in the canal as well. So imagine you've got this quite hard piece which is firmly attached to the canal walls. With canal wall movement due to jaw movement, you're going to get this irritation to the skin there. So standard size ulnar tube in here now. Just see if I can reposition this or pull this forwards. The reason I'm opting to use the Jobson horn at this particular point rather than the Zollner tube rather than the Jobson horn, because I can't see any obvious gap there, you always run the risk of, when you push the Jobson horn in, we can see that the wax goes up just past this entrance section here. It's going to get caught on that and push the wax further in, which is going to cause a few problems for us getting it back out. We then have to bring it back forwards and reposition it. So if I can just bring it forwards enough to get a gap, you can see I'm trying to work the gap there. There we are. We've pressed down now, so now we can see there's a little gap just above. So we're just going to get above it and bring it forwards. And then we're just going to get behind that again now and bring that down. There we go. So that comes out now. So you can see it's quite a large chunk there came away. Now when we look behind that now, we can see we've got quite a dry section at the bottom of the canal. You can just about see a little bit of redness and irritation that where this dry piece of wax at the base here has been irritating the ear canal and rubbing on the canal as well. So we're going to aim to try and lift this up. We've got a bit of dry skin, a little bit of wax behind it. So we're going to try and peel that bit of dry skin up, because you can see that's embedded into the front end of the wax. We're just slowing this down a second so you can see that it's peeling away there. There we go. And then we're going to aim for that harder section of wax behind. There we are. So you can see a red patch there where it's been rubbing back and forth on the canal wall just to the bottom left of the screen there, and you can see the eardrum now is nice and clear on that side. So same patient now, but second ear, you can see we've got the very similar wax in both sides here. So we're just going to go in and get the front end of this wax out. You can see it's a little bit softer than the other side, not quite as dried out. Well, certainly this front section is here anyway. But as we pull through, you can see it's just bent the wax, and rather than break a chunk off, it's actually just moved that outer section of wax across. So we're just going to go above that and pull that forwards now. There we are, out that comes. You can see quite a long piece of wax there come away. Much more further in though, so we're going to go in with the suction tube now, just to try and lift this bit of, you can see this dry skin here at the entrance, let's get rid of that. There's this piece of wax further in. There's this dry skin here at the entrance. Now, obviously, I can't just go ploughing into that wax further into the canal, because it's deep and we can't see behind it. The last thing we want to do is push into that and cause any issues by pressing wax against the eardrum, or in worst case scenario we could end up perforating the eardrum. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just trying to use the suction to bring that whole section forwards, which then means I can safely use the Jobson horn on it. The difficulty is that every time I try and get to that piece of wax, you can see this piece of skin flicks up in front here. So what I'm doing at the moment, I haven't got enough grip to pull the skin out, but I'm trying to hold on to the skin and the wax at the same time, so it really blocks the end of the suction, to see if we can get a whole section pulled out that will take the skin with it. But it just brought the wax through that gap. So I'm just trying to suction again, see if I can, now we've moved that piece, if we can get a better grip on this bit of skin. And see if we can get to the wax behind it. You can see it's just folding the edges in there. So we need to move some of this skin really. So what we'll do now, we'll go in with the crocodile forceps, just grab some of the bigger pieces here, take those away. You know, I just sort of shear them off. Just lifting the bottom section there, just taking that away. Just smoothing this out now so we can get the suction tube in safely. So what I've done is just stuck that skin back down onto the canal wall just for a second, just so I can concentrate on getting this offending piece of wax out. So we've got a good grip. There we go. We see the movement now. Whole thing starts to come forwards, breaks into pieces as we take it out of the canal there. Just go in and grab the next section. There we are. It looks like there's another piece much further in. Yes, there is. So you'll see we've got a piece that's resting right up against the eardrum. This is what I was saying about using the Jobson horn when you can't, if it's deep wax. You know, if you pressed into this, you would have pushed this right up against the eardrum. Even, you know, it's on it at the moment. So if you imagine putting pressure on that, if that had been hard wax, so you put pressure on that with a Jobson horn, you were going to push it through the eardrum if you're not careful. So you have to be really careful with these things. There we are. So that's all suctioned away now. There's the eardrum. A little bit of dullness to the eardrum there. Let's now concentrate on this little bit of skin at the entrance. What you'll notice I'm doing is I'm going past the skin and dragging the Zollner tube backwards. So what that's doing is it's breaking away the skin, and then it's getting suction straight into the Zollner tube here. There we are. So we're nice and clear on this side now. We're just tidying up this little bit of dead skin at the entrance here. There we go. So you can see the eardrum's a little bit dull. It's there's probably a little bit of fluid sitting behind there because it's got a slightly bluish colour. This is what we removed. So you can see just how much we removed. 6 centimetres there altogether, just under 2.5 inches. So quite a bit in there. Yeah, quite a bit of wax in that one. Thank you very much for watching our video today. If you did enjoy the video, then please like. If you're not subscribed already or you'd like to do so, you can click the subscribe button here. If you'd like to check out some more of our videos, they're also up there. Now, if you want to follow us, you can do on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also check our website if you want to know a little bit more about us. And as always, guys, until the next time, take care.